Looks like Mega Giant Boy 10 is taking the day off. Let's motivate Mega Giant Boy 10 with a controlled shock.
Hey there guys, it's Mega Giant Boy 10 here, and I wasn't gonna talk about it. I wasn't going to talk about this, but because I'm kind of late on this. Five Nights at Freddy's Sister Location came out like weeks ago. I am late on this, I know, but I just couldn't bear it. I needed to get my thoughts out. I needed to get my opinion out on this about Five Nights at Freddy's. So today I'm going to be talking about. This is some sort of a Five Nights at Freddy's rant. And before I get started, I just want to say this is my opinion. And I'm not hating on Five Nights at Freddy's fans. I'm not hating on Scott Cawthon. I'm not hating on the games. I'm just saying my personal opinions and complaints with them. So if you don't have to agree with me. If you like these games, don't let me stop you from loving them, okay? I'm not gonna, I don't want to be like that. So just clearing that up. I don't want to enrage any Five Nights at Freddy's fans out there. But yeah, I just needed to talk about this because it's been on my mind a lot lately. The Five Nights at Freddy's games, and just the problems I've been having with them lately, like with the most recent installment, Five Nights at Freddy's Sister Location. Yeah, so I actually really like the Five Nights at Freddy's series. I used to, I like Five Nights at Freddy's. I like it. So it's not me being a complete hater on Five Nights at Freddy's, but I like the games. But okay. So let's just start off with Five Nights at Freddy's 1. I'm gonna go through the games and I'm gonna say what I liked about each one and how I think they've changed over the year or so that Five Nights at Freddy's has existed. So first game, the original Five Nights at Freddy's game. I love the original Five Nights at Freddy's game. I really do like that game. It was actually one of the first horror games that I actually really, really got into. Probably the first I really got into. And if any of my longtime fans remember, I used to have a Five Nights at Freddy's kind of dual Let's Play series on the first game. And I don't know, I've removed those videos since then. But yeah, so I love Five Nights at Freddy's. It is I think the first one is very, very good. But the thing I loved so much about it was that it was so ironic. Like, the idea of it was an actual unique idea for a horror game. Like, I wasn't into the whole zombie thing. I've never been into zombies. Zombie games never interested me. Because I just thought zombies was an overused concept and I don't like them in general. Just pretty much most horror games nowadays, or just, most horror games just do not really interest me. But Five Nights at Freddy's really stuck out. It just really stuck out for me for some reason. I think I found it so ironic and so unique that you were being attacked by children's entertainment. And that's what I really liked about the game, because everybody looks at, creepy animatronics and they think, whoa, those are kind of creepy, they're spooky, in general. In real life, animatronics are spooky. And Scott took this idea and made it he made it so good. Like, the first game was literally, it was a great horror game, and it's awesome. Very scary, very suspenseful, and the idea is so unique that you can't move. You're not running around. You're in an office. You're a security guard and trying to not get killed by these things who are out after you. And I thought it was a really good idea, and a really good theme for a game. Because it was spooky. And, they were trying to kill me. But, I still saw these things as children's, entertainment. I could still see that these are still kind of somewhat kid-friendly looking, even if they are, just trying to kill you at night. I mean, they actually do kind of look like, they resemble that sort of, kid-friendliness that can also be creepy at times, if you know what I mean. Like real animatronics do. And that's why I really liked it. So Five Nights at Freddy's, a double thumbs up for me. I really liked that game. And then the Five Nights at Freddy's 2 came out, and I was really surprised, because wow, this is really soon. They really came back really quickly with that. The second one came shortly after the first, and the second one is really good too. Definitely a double thumbs up for me on the second one. The second one had some new mechanics and really changed up the formula a lot. So it wasn't it added a lot more animatronics. It added a lot more new features and took out some old features, and it's a really good game. There's also a lot more replayability than the first one, and just the second one is just overall a pretty good game as well, in my opinion. I think the second one, not quite as good as the first, because the first is just kind of, it's the first. It's the essential. But the second one is definitely really good. It took that pizzeria setting and took you back an era to when those things were, when pizzerias were kind of popular. Children's pizzerias, those kinds of places were, in style. Those took you back to then. It was a good game. Double thumbs up again. And then Five Nights at Freddy's 3 came out. And this game literally existed for the lore of the game. That was like the only reason this game existed. Like, just the whole game is based around the lore. And I haven't talked about the lore yet. Basically, I'm fine with the lore. I was fine with the lore, when it started, because it was kind of like a few little Easter eggs, with a little bit of backstory as to how this whole thing happened. In Five Nights at Freddy's 1, we had the newspaper clippings that were would randomly appear, and they had little articles talking about a man dressed up in a Freddy suit lured 5 kids back into the back room and killed them all and stuffed their bodies into the suits, and then the suits became possessed with the souls of the children, and angry spirits haunt the pizzeria forever, looking for revenge. And that's cool. Throwing a little bit of backstory in there, it works. And that's it's a spooky story and adds a little more to the creepy, wow, I can't believe that's how it happened sort of thing. And that was fine. And then even in Five Nights at Freddy's 2, it wasn't so bad. You had the little arcade mini games that happened when you died, and it kind of showed off a little more of how this all happened. And I was okay with those. They were a little bit more complicating, and I have watched Matt Pat's game theory videos on those, and I still do watch them. Just I don't know. I think Matt Pat makes some pretty good content over there, but just the theories were pretty good. I think his first and second Five Nights at Freddy's videos were probably his best, and the story wasn't so complicated. It made sense. There was just a murderer, killed 5 kids, stuffed them into the suits. The suits were haunted with the souls. Continued into FNAF 2, and but Five Nights at Freddy's 3 kind of took it too far, because the game was literally based around this. It took you out of the pizzeria and put you inside this Fazbear's Fright attraction, where it was literally a horror attraction. It was just kind of it was all just based around the lore. The game felt like it literally existed for the secret little Easter eggs and mini games that you could find. That if you played them right, you'd get a good ending. If you didn't, you got a bad ending. Basically, just defeating the whole purpose for having it be an actual game. I actually liked the gameplay in that game. I thought the ventilation was kind of cool, and I thought it was a decent game. Not nearly as good as the first two. Nowhere near the first two in quality. But I gave it a pass. Just this once. You took it out of the pizzeria setting. Didn't really make him kid friendly, but I'll give you a pass on that one. And here's when I thought, Five Nights at Freddy's is done. But it wasn't. Scott had to make Five Nights at Freddy's 4. So-called the final chapter. And Five Nights at Freddy's 4, oh my goodness. It's Five Nights at Freddy's 4 is just it took it too far. Now, I gave Five Nights at Freddy's 3 a pass. It could have been a good trilogy if Scott had just ended it with Five Nights at Freddy's 3. But he made Five Nights at Freddy's 4, and it was the final chapter. And I played it. I was obliged to get it. I had gotten the first 3, and I was a dedicated fan at this point. So I was like, what the heck? I'll get this game, and I'm gonna try it out, see how it is. So I ended up getting through most of the game. I beat Golden Freddy. I did not beat that weird nightmare thing, mostly because I had been so done with that game at that point, and I was just it's a really scary one. I'll admit, but the thing is I didn't like the games because they were scary. I didn't like the Five Nights at Freddy's games because they were horror games. I liked them because they were unique in that it took something like a children's family restaurant and turned it into just a nightmare house. And it was making the animatronics come and try and kill you as the security guard at night. That's a really good idea, and it worked for the first and second games. And the third game now is quite well, but the fourth game literally took it too far, taking you completely out of the pizzeria completely making it so there's no power source of any kind. You're not in a pizzeria. There's no security cameras. You're literally just in a house at night. You're a little kid just trying to survive by these nightmare animatronics coming down the hallways to try and kill you. Now, I mean, come on. That's not like Five Nights at Freddy's at all. I mean, you're literally just a child in your house at night, and you have these monsters coming down to kill you. I mean, it's a scary setting. I'm not gonna lie, it's scary, but I didn't like it. That's not why I like the series. Well, what I didn't like about this game is that it literally took what was unique about the series, the before mentioned pizzeria setting, and just put it in a cliche haunted, creepy, normal house, but somehow made nightmarish. Just. It was not good. And again, with the lore, again with the lore, there were so many, mini games. It was basically like a story. We got like a little stupid cutscene every time you beat a night, and it was just setting up dumb lore that I didn't really care about. It was overcomplicating things. Like, I didn't like the game because it was a full-fledged story with characters like Purple Guy, and it just. I don't know. Like the gameplay was alright. It was scary, but then it was like the stupid cutscenes in the middle with the games. They weren't even really games anymore. It was kind of just like walk over here, get a jump scare, boom. I don't know. It was. I don't know. Just it turned out to be all revolving around. Oh, it's the Bite of 87. Oh, just the Bite of 87 story plot. Random stuff that didn't really matter in the first few games, which actually, just random plot everywhere. But turns out it's not actually the Bite of 87, it's the Bite of 83! Story plot twist. I don't know. And to think I was being hard on Five Nights at Freddy's 3 before. I mean, Five Nights at Freddy's 3, it was plot related, but I mean, at least it ended on a good note with Purple Guy, the murderer, getting, killed. He was the spirits got their revenge on the murderer and got him killed. But turns out he's not actually dead. But that's another plot twist. I mean, it could have ended on that note. That could have been the last game. The murderer's dead. Trilogy completed. Good job, Scott. You did a good job. But no, he had to make Five Nights at Freddy's 4, and he had to make Five Nights at Freddy's 4. And Five Nights at Freddy's 4, it was like, oh, it's the Bite of 87, but later revealed to be the Bite of 83, and just like too much plot, too much nonsense. I don't care about this anymore. You took out what I liked about the games and what was actually unique about them, and just turned it into a big plot house. And now apparently there's a book about Five Nights at Freddy's? What? No. Now there's characters, and now there's plot, and now it's just way more plot filled than ever. And they're making a movie now. But then, I was fine because, Scott was like, I'm done making Five Nights at Freddy's games. I couldn't be so mad because this is his last one. And, I played it, and, I didn't really like it, but I played it, and I finished it for the most part. Then he had to go and make Sister Location. Like he said, I'm not making Five Nights at Freddy's 5, guys. I'm not making it. But Scott must have checked his bank account and realized, oh shoot, I can't pay the bills this month. I guess I'm going to have to reconsider making Five Nights at Freddy's 5. But instead of calling it Five Nights at Freddy's 5, because I already said I wasn't going to make Five Nights at Freddy's 5, I'm just going to label it as spin-off and call it Five Nights at Freddy's Sister Location or something like that. And I mean, people can argue with me on this all they want, but I'm not. You guys can't deny that Sister Location is definitively Five Nights at Freddy's 5. Scott just said that so that he could get out of changing his mind on making it. He just called it Sister Location, so it wasn't Five Nights at Freddy's 5. Therefore, he didn't change. Therefore, he didn't actually change his mind. He just decided to make a spin-off. Ugh. But no, it's not a spin-off. It has Five Nights at Freddy's in the title. If it was just Sister Location, I guess that's fine. But no, it was Five Nights at Freddy's Sister Location. And there are so many connections, I cannot even consider it a spin-off. Why? You guys are probably going to say something like, no, it takes place in a different location, so that means it's not really in the Five Nights at Freddy's establishment because it's in a sister location, so it's different. It's a spin-off game. And I'm like, no. If that was the case, then Five Nights at Freddy's 3 isn't an actual Five Nights at Freddy's game, or Five Nights at Freddy's 4. They technically don't count because Five Nights at Freddy's 3 takes place in a Fazbear's Fright. That's not connected to Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. That's not connected at all. That means it's obviously a spin-off game. Five Nights at Freddy's 3 is definitely a spin-off game. And Five Nights at Freddy's 4 takes place in a kid's bedroom. But technically he's actually in a coma and he's not actually there and it's all a dream. But actually there are like an Easter egg with the cameras in Five Nights at Freddy's sister location where it shows the house in Five Nights at Freddy's 4. Well, now it's actually real, blah, 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 blah. No, it's all the same game series. Five Nights at Freddy's Sister Location is definitively Five Nights at Freddy's 5. Most definitely. Just, you cannot deny it. Yeah, so Five Nights at Freddy's Sister Location, I wasn't going to get it. When I found out about it, I was kind of like, oh my gosh, he's making another one? Why would he do this? He said it was the final chapter. Why would he do this? And I kind of got upset. And I got even more upset when I saw the ridiculous looking animatronic designs that don't look kid friendly at all, and they're basically they're not, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all. But, I decided to get this game anyway because, I can't actually dislike something without playing it. So, I just went and bought it while it was on sale, and I played through most of it. Most of it. Yes, I couldn't even finish this one. But, I got into this game, and I was so disappointed. From the first couple nights, I was so disappointed because I realized what this game actually was. You think this is a Five Nights at Freddy's game? Well, it's not a Five Nights at Freddy's game. It is not a Five Nights at Freddy's game. It is just it's a point and click story campaign. I guess technically it's in a pizzeria now, I guess, but it doesn't look like it at all. It kind of just looks like a facility that happens to have a bunch of robots on the loose. And it's all about the lore this time. Every single event in this game takes place so that it can explain the lore. Explain the lore. It's all story-based. And the thing is, the story isn't even good anymore. It was fine when it was just, children got killed and stuffed into the suits. Now they're haunting the suits and now they want revenge on you. They want to kill you. That was a fine story. It wasn't overcomplicated. But now it's just like a really stupid, just overcooked, just overdone, burnt, on fire, I don't know what to call it. What kind of food would a Five Nights at Freddy's story be? I'm just going to call it pumpkin pie because Halloween's coming up soon. But, it started off pretty nice. It was pretty well baked. And it got a little toasty. And you were like, about time to take this out of the oven. And then you forgot to take it out of the oven. And it just kept on cooking and kept on cooking. Started getting burnt. Started getting black. And then, then it just caught flame. And it's just a pile of dust inside your oven that you have to clean out, and it's just a big mess. But okay, Five Nights at Freddy's Sister Location could have been a good game. I wanted to enjoy this. I wanted to enjoy this, but the thing was, every once in a while, for the first hour of me playing this, every once in a while I would go, hey, that looks cool. I can't wait to use that when, the night actually starts. That's a cool little feature that they added. That's really interesting. This could have had some cool gameplay elements. When the tutorial dude, when the robot voice, kind of the new phone guy, I guess, came on and he was just kind of like, what does he sound like? Let's properly motivate baby with a controlled shock. Just kind of, it was kind of cool, shocking the animatronics, having, going through the vents, that all sounds like really cool stuff that if it was worked into a system where it's done at 6 a.m., kind of way, that would have been cool. If it was a 5-night system where you had to survive 6 hours a night, and it was kind of like the animatronics were all trying to kill you at once. Being able to move around and stuff. I thought there were a lot of cool little ideas that they had in there, like shocking the animatronics and a controlled shock, or having we're going through the vents. You even had a little voice. There was a motion trigger. Circus gather event. They always had the little voices telling you if stuff was happening. That would have been so cool, being in your office and hearing motion trigger, fun time auditorium, and just have Funtime Foxy is coming. Better go and, shock her or something. Shocking animatronics. Even going to the power room to reboot the power when it went out, that's like super awesome. Like that's a new feature that they could have totally had and it would have been fun gameplay. But no. Scott just decided to throw out all those super cool ideas that would have made for an awesome 6-hour shift kind of game like the other games. But no, instead he just decided to walk you through it and have just kind of tease you and say, hey, look at this thing that I could have done. Well, gone forever now. Move on to the next little mini game. It's it was just instead of having it all come together into a full experience where you actually have to survive nights, they just turn it into a bunch of random mini games. And in between those mini games, if you survive them, you get little bits of story and dialogue. You get to hear baby talk again or something. I don't know. It's so boring. It's so freaking boring. Why wouldn't you turn this into a survival, kind of thing with all these cool elements like you did in the first few games, like a 6-hour system and a just a 5-night system, but no, now it's just a story. It's just a campaign only. You can't actually play Five Nights at Freddy's. I did not have a single bit of fun with this game. It was so boring. It was so unnecessarily pointless, and the plot was so unnecessarily complicated. Okay. You know what? I had a little bit of fun with Sister Location, I'll tell you. My favorite part with Sister Location was eating the popcorn back at your house after each day. I had a lot of, that was probably my favorite part of that game. I loved pressing the space bar and eating the popcorn. Thanks Scott with that one. I know a lot of people like these games. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm just done with Five Nights at Freddy's. I don't want to play it anymore. Although probably, if Scott does make another one, I'll probably just have to get it so I can get my opinion on it and hate it again or whatever happens. I don't know. I'm fed up with the Five Nights at Freddy's games. They were good before, but Scott's just taken it too far with the story. Again, I'm sorry. If you like these games, no hate towards you. If you like these games, don't let me stop you. Enjoy them. I like Five Nights at Freddy's. I have a freaking Foxy plush in the background of my videos. Is that not enough proof? I love Five Nights at Freddy's, but it's just gotten out of hand, and that's the reason why I felt like I needed to make this video. So if you like the games, just keep on liking them. And I have no ill will towards Scott Cawthon. I actually kind of respect him as a game developer. I question his choices with the Five Nights at Freddy's series going on. But yeah, maybe in the future we can see a traditional Five Nights at Freddy's game again. But until then, Five Nights at Freddy's doesn't seem like something for me anymore. Yep, anyways, that's all I have to say. Thank you for listening. If you wouldn't mind, if you stuck around this long, you probably liked what you heard. If you wouldn't mind maybe checking out my other stuff, I really appreciate it. Seeing if there's anything you might be interested in. If there is, make sure to subscribe. If you just like this video, make sure to just, like it, please. That means a lot to me. If you have your own opinion, or if you have something else you want to add to mine, make sure to leave it in the comments, and have a nice day, everyone. See you later.